Hey guys, my name is Michael and welcome to my video series on how to code, getting started with code, how to code for the web. So here we are in Visual Studio Code. This is a free program from Microsoft you can download. It's called a text editor. That's what this type of program is. Word processors, different programs, types of programs. So this is a text editor, and basically it just helps you to edit your code as you type it in, to move things around quickly, to there's some automatic things it can do. There's a lot of plugins to have different languages talk to each other and that kind of thing. So again, it's a free program. But off the top, I'd like to just say that I'm not building this to sell anything. This program, these courses, these videos, it's basically just to get more experience in providing content on YouTube in this manner, and also to provide some free, hopefully helpful, hopefully informative, useful stuff for you guys to watch and to learn from. So no strings attached. Here we go. So if you're coding for the web, here I am in Visual Studio Code. There are other text editors, popular ones. This is the most popular one. So I'll just stick with this for now. And so I'm just going to close out that welcome screen. I'm going to start a new file here. And when you're coding for the web, if you're coding for a website, essentially websites run on or are built out of 2-3 languages on the front end of your website. So the front end is basically what you see on the screen in your browser. So that's all the visual stuff you would see, the stuff you would click on, the stuff that would move on the web page. That's all the front end. It's what you experience when you really use the site and look at it. And then the back end is like the server side. So you got the client side is the front end. That's the side you interact with through the window, through the browser. The back end is where your files get sent to, where the databases are, where the files are processed. It's where things are held in security. For example, credit card information, passwords, logins, stuff like that. Databases full of products and services. That's all on the back end. So right now, this is about the front end. So it's going to teach you a bit about the front end web development. So here we got just an untitled document within Visual Studio Code. And I also wanted to just say that I'm going to try to make these videos pretty short, so it won't be too much of your time to take. So here we have an untitled document. It doesn't have any file extension to it. It's just a text file, basically. If you were to save it as such, we're going to go ahead and save it as an HTML file. So wherever you are in your, I'm actually going to rename it as index, and then come over here and rename it as HTML, index.html. You can use HTML as a file extension and it would work the exact same, so it's a matter of preference. But that basically makes it an HTML file. So once you've done that, you'll see that this little icon up here with these angle brackets, that lets you know that the type of file it is. So if it's a different type of file, it'll have a different icon there. This is an HTML file with the icon. Now, one great thing about Visual Studio Code, and other text editors do have add-ons or plugins or extensions you can add to have this functionality I'm about to show you, but Visual Studio Code includes it. It's called Emmet. So you can do things like an exclamation mark, just one, like that, hit tab, and it just builds out that boilerplate template sort of skeleton of what you really need for an HTML file or document. So that's just a quick way to, it's built into the program to quickly get what you need. And I'll just go through this, what each part is. And if you've never seen this before, don't be overwhelmed. It's just some words on a screen. I'll go through each one and some characters, and I'll tell you what they all mean. So I'll explain it from top to bottom here. Number one, you're always going to have this at the top of your HTML document, and that's just, it's a doc type or document type declaration. So it's just basically declaring to say the browser that's going to read this file and render it into the what you see on the screen. Just declaring what type of document it is, right? So we got, and it looks a little bit, if you've never seen it before, with the angle brackets and slashes. I'll get right to that. But this first line is a document declaration, document type declaration, which in this case is shown with the attribute. These are attributes. HTML here, lang is an attribute, char set, name, content are attributes. I'll get to that too. But this one is HTML. So basically what this line is saying to the browser is that this file, everything below here, everything here is HTML. And this particular attribute, how it's written, HTML, means to the browser that it's HTML5, which is like the 5th sort of version of HTML over the years. Just like a program might have a 2.0, 3.0. Well, HTML just means to them, to the browser, sorry, HTML5. And that's like the modern HTML. That's the one that's out now. It's been out for a while. It's popular. It's the standard. There are other doc types you might see, more lengthy ones. It might be a couple lines, like one line, but quite some length. And that might be older versions like HTML4, etc. So that's what that's about. Now you have the HTML, what's called HTML tag here. So these are called tags basically. So this is an HTML tag, this is a head tag, this is a body tag. And the tags are denoted by angle brackets. So you have opening angle bracket, the name of the tag, and then you might have some attributes in there. Sorry, I actually just don't know what I did there. Let's see. That's what it should be. So you got an opening angle bracket, the name of the tag, the tag name, and then a closing angle bracket. And that whole thing is like a tag. So this is the HTML tag, this is a head tag, this is a meta tag, this is a title tag, etc. Body tag. Now the ones you see with the slash before the word. So you'll notice some of them don't have like one like that. See, title here says it's got the title tag, and then here it's got a title tag again, but it's got a slash at the beginning of the word title. Well, this is an opening title tag or an opening tag, and this is a closing tag. So a closing tag will have a slash before the word, right? So this is a title tag, an opening tag, and this is a closing tag, which happens to be a title tag. For example, here is an opening tag, which is a body tag, and this is a closing tag, which is a closing body tag. So that's the syntax of it. That's how it's written. So that's what your tags look like, and that's what your closing tags look like. This is a closing tag too. It's HTML. It's part of the HTML element. It's called. So if you do everything in here, really what it is this is opening because it doesn't have the slash, and then everything in here is actually inside of the HTML element. So you have the opening tag, opens up the HTML element, and the closing tag closes that element. So if you put some stuff in here, whatever it is, you're going to have an opening body tag, a closing body tag, and then everything inside there, whatever that stuff is, it could be a whole bunch of stuff. This whole thing, including the tags, is the body element. So I hope that it helps explain the difference between a tag, a closing tag, and then an element. So if you see, it's kind of nested, right? So all this stuff here is inside the body element. And then the body element is actually inside the HTML element. So is the head element. The head element is inside the HTML element. So you could see it like this. Sometimes you'll see the indentation, such as like that, because it's sort of nested. So your head element is inside of your HTML element. Your body element is also, and then you could have elements in here. I'll get to what a paragraph element is later. But say you had a paragraph here. I'll just delete this for now. This paragraph element, just going to move this over. Yeah. So this paragraph element is inside the body element, and the whole body element is inside the HTML element. That's kind of how that works. And you could have stuff in elements inside elements like that. So it's like a nested, structured, different levels of. Basically, what it's referred to as descendants. So this would be a descendant of this. This would be a descendant of that, and it's sort of described in sort of familial relationships. So this paragraph element would be a child of the body element, and the body element would be a child of the HTML element. And the paragraph element would be a descendant of the HTML element. So the paragraphs kind of are nested in are descendants or children or grandchildren or however you want to say it of the previous higher level, I guess. So hopefully that makes sense. That's just kind of an introduction on what these things are. So again, you have your tags. This is a whole, like this is a tag. Tag, 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 tag. This whole thing is an element. And then within the tags, you can have attributes, which is basically like a way of just adding some information to it. And then the attribute would have an equals symbol, and then inside quotation marks beside it would give like the value of the attribute. So in this case, we have a meta tag, which denotes meta information about the document. Let's go with a name attribute, and then the value of the name attribute is viewport here. It's got a content attribute, and the value of that content attribute is this stuff here. So without going into all the particulars about what this actually means, what this means, UTF-8 is a char set is a character set, so that's basically the different symbols and things that can be used on your website. Viewport is it's saying what kind of information, meta information is this, so it's dealing with the viewport or the screen size basically. And then the content is like what about the viewport? Well, you want the device to be the width of the device essentially, and initial scale of 1. So it's not zoomed in, it's not zoomed out. That's basically what that's saying. But that's kind of what an HTML structure is. And you know, there's lots of different tags and elements you can use that mean different things, right? So there's like image ones, which looks like that. And this is another attribute, and that's another attribute. There's, what else is there? There's lots. You got your headings, which is like H1. So this is a heading. You got H2s, H3, all the way down to H6. For more important headings and lesser important headings, all the way down to H6. There's lots of different elements you can get, but this video I just wanted to share kind of like what HTML really is. First of all, it stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Hypertext being the language of the internet, the browsers, how they talk, what the language is written in. And then the markup language, it's basically you're marking up, it's a language that marks up your page into sections. For example, there's a body section, there's a paragraph section, there's a heading, different sections, different for different areas of your website and for different contents in your website. This head element up here, it actually doesn't display on your website except for the title you'll see up in the browser up here. So if you ever see on a website in the browser title, if you change that word document to any title you want, and then you look in if you were to save it and look in a browser, up in the browser tab, that's where you would see this any title you want up here in the title tag. So all this head element is it's like metadata. It's not actually included in the window or the browser window that you would view, but it's things that that sort of, it's like extra information for the website. And then what's in this body element, which can be long, can be lots and lots of lines of code if you want, depending on your website. But everything in the body element, that's what actually gets seen in the browser window. So that's a quick introduction to HTML and what it is, how it's structured. I hope that helps a bit. It's not so much more complicated than that. There's like lots of things you can do. Like I said, you can do lists. This is a unordered list with list items in it, like that. There's lots of different things you can do. You can do sections. There's lots of things you can. I won't get to all of them in this video, but here's one: is you can put an ID on something, which basically allows you to, when you're styling it, that's another thing I wanted to mention, was that HTML is for markup, which basically it's there's a sort of like a best practices way to do things when you're coding for a website, and that's to have all your HTML to be your markup, and that's really about the sections, what goes where, like what is where is this a paragraph or is this a heading? But when it comes to the style and where, like if things are centered on the page or if things are a different color or if photos are a certain size or rounded or all that kind of stuff, that should go in a actually different type of file, which is called CSS.css, which is cascading style sheets. So these work together, HTML and CSS, but we'll get to that later. I just wanted to make the point that HTML is you just want it to be like just the outline of what's on your page, basically, without the styling. So HTML is more like you build a house with you put all the walls up and stuff, and then CSS is like the paint, and like you hang the painting and you put the flowers there and all that kind of stuff. If that helps explain. So anyways, I'll wrap this video up, and yeah, if you have any questions, if you enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll keep making these videos. And that was just a quick introduction about what HTML is and how it's structured. In the next video, I'll get more to the specifics about different types of tags, different types of things you can do on your website, and I'll actually open up another window alongside this text editor to show the actual real-time, what it looks like in real time as we go through and make changes. Just one other thing